us here on the program. All right, third straight year, United States in the final. And, to me, this U.S. team really has overcome a lot of challenges. But I think this should be interesting watching Venezuela because even themselves, they took out Japan. They come out and they take out a scrappy Italian team. So I expect tonight really to be something pretty crucial as far as competition, spurts in the game where if I got a strong pitching staff 5-6 innings deep with my starter, going in and tapping into the bullpen, but I'm hoping that Bobby Witt Jr. start us off in a big way. Then follow it along with our 6 hitters. I think this is going to be a fantastic showing of a World Baseball Classic.
Jake, thank you so much for bringing me on the show here. It's just what an amazing event of baseball we've seen. We've been very privileged, honor to watch the best of the best really compete, show what they're about. It goes beyond money, what you're seeing right now. And that also includes Team USA. I mean, I played baseball, winter ball, and I got to see firsthand that passion, right? As an American, you confuse it through another emotion, but when you really see and go and play with them outside of America, you understand it's the love that they have for the game. It's going to be exciting. I'm literally edge of the seat. Can't wait. Can't miss it. I don't know who is going to miss this game. Look, you need big players to show up. I think it's also a preview of what you see as far as who the players who step up here. You see these guys naturally do it in the season time, in the playoffs. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, Witt Jr., he's special. He's showing that. And you could see where it's like, man, this guy knows how to lead. Funny fact about him, I believe, I don't know if this is accurate, he led his high school team all state, pitcher and a hitter. We forget about that. So he grabbed the ball and said, let's do it. It's not even my main thing. I like that. Those are real leader qualities. I was a two-way guy. I think that's the pure form where you're a competitor. You want the ball. He was one of those guys. I'm excited. Yeah, it's interesting to see. It's going to be exciting.
And, what's funny about Bobby Witt Jr. is, you think of his dad and the amount of playing days that he's had, in Major League Baseball. So to have that trait and quality and yet blazing your own trail in that, I mean, man, what a journey road it is for him. But I'm excited to see him. So in the previous matchup, I actually had on the program the other day, I had Carter Capps on. And what I described with him, we had a lot of swings and whiffs in the last game against Dominican Republic. Listen, that was quite a titan of a lineup on DR's side because you had to find a way to silence them. Quality pitching from Paul Skeens. You tap into the bullpen all from 6 through 9. But the only thing is that the offense went completely quiet. And now same thing for DR. They were outrunning these guys for 10-plus runs. And the only question mark was, what was the pitching staff going to look like? I thought it was pretty damn good. But people were outraged, obviously, by the strike 3 call on Geraldo Perdomo. But to me, they whiffed on an opportunity of what was Fernando Tatis doing on the baselines? He could have had an opportunity to, take advantage of that. What was kind of the case in where going into the final, U.S. has to take from what they learned in that last game and really change it to where our offense is clicking, even if we got a 4-5 run lead here against the Venezuela team?
It's going to come down to you really are seeing the guys, how they progress. Unfortunately, this is the beginning of spring training. So it's just so tough because I want to assess all of these hitters tonight. But the reality is like Pasquantino is a perfect example. I don't even know if I said his name right. Sorry, man. Ofer, and then all of a sudden 3 homer. It's just, this is the fun. This is the fun of this game, right?
Yeah.
It's just you kind of don't know.
Right.
It's like, it's really, this is, I hope, everybody in the lineup. I will say, there's both sides of pressure. Don't
Right.
kid yourself. Venezuela's got a ton of home base there. They got a huge fan base that's going to show up. There's obviously pressure to perform. We got tons of pressure. I think America needs to just kind of contain the fans, contain the noise, focus on just getting out early. But I'll be honest with you, I anybody that's predicting things right now, I want to hear it, because it's like, man, it's early. You don't know, which is great, because like Harper could go nuts.
Yeah.
We don't know. Anybody can go nuts tonight. Terrain could lead us tonight. It's gonna be one of those things where keep everybody loose, especially Venezuela's side too. Here's what I would say. Keep an eye out. Gosh, this is embarrassing. The right fielder here, I forget, Abreu.
Oh yeah.
God,
Yep.
I'm
Willie
really
Abreu. Yep.
I really want to see him out of the mix tonight. I don't want to see him hurt us. I want to see other people try to hurt us. Let Luis Ariz get his singles. But I think Abreu has been one of their bigger bats to come up as far as with runners on wise. So,
Yeah.
he's someone you want to definitely keep an eye on, as far as like, let other people beat us tonight.
I'll tell you what, between him and then Ronald Acuna and Michael Garcia, like those are the three guys you really have to contain up from there, because yeah, Luis Ariz could either poke it or he can have it leave the yard, but at least you can find ways to pitch around that. A funny question here for you before we move on. Listen, I love my Canadian friends who are watching and listening this show, but this has not been a great year to start with for Team Canada. I mean, the men's, women's hockey team, they lose in overtime, but it was a great classic. And then all of a sudden, the World Baseball Classic, and United States, they came out on top. Wouldn't the cherry on top that would have really pissed them off is if we go into the FIFA World Cup in June and then all of a sudden we meet again and it's like, do they just throw their hands up and go, we can't do this every time?
I don't know if you've ever had a Canadian buddy, but they're absolutely nothing short of amazing. I had a couple, Kyle Orr, Chris LaRue. They were just out of the world, amazing individuals. Yeah, Canada has been taken. The good news is Canadians could always be optimistic because they are so close to us. So that's really the truth is, they wake up every day knowing how happy they are being north of us. So that's kind of like the only good thing for them so far in 2026. My Canadian brothers, I feel for you up there. I know you guys are going to get a victory. Maybe, some cool winter sport. I'm sure they're going to get first place in. Got to give them their props. But yeah, no, Canada's getting a rough patch right now. I wish them the best here. I mean, they're big Canadian. Friedman, he wasn't there. Freddie usually plays for them, which is great. He's awesome for that. And so he obviously was missed. So,
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Josh and Bo Naylor, I mean, that's a really good pair right there that Canada, they were able to compete with. I'd say they were pretty scrappy along the lines with Italy. But I'll tell you what, though, if you're Kansas City, you got to love watching Vinny Pasquantino and Jack Caglione both looking like they're going to have breakout years this up-and-coming season. So you're going to love this. So I actually had Michael McKinry up and on here. We were talking Pittsburgh. And we know right now, Connor Griffin, people are very excited for his build. But I also make the argument here that Pittsburgh, like what Michael mentioned, is this place used to have attitude, where it was guys that they took advantage of opportunities. The pitching staffs were very aggressive. And at the same time, you look at now you got Marcell Ozuna, and I'll get to the salary cap thing here in a second because it kind of singles them and the A's. But to me, I feel like Pittsburgh's trying to prove like we are trying to build up in our farm system. if Connor Griffin's a big hit, which I anticipate he will be, then maybe this is a step in the right direction for Pittsburgh, but they really have to show for it for themselves with O'Neal Cruz and, even their pitching staff. What do you make and preview this season for the Pirates?
Well, let's look at hey, great moves this offseason, right? Mm-hmm. Got a big lefty bat, I think. And then I thought another great lefty bat as far as an on-base percentage. So I think those two were really wonderful there. Lowe and Manis. I'm screwing up names. I apologize. Hey, look, he couldn't be more spot on. McHenry was absolutely right. There was a culture. We had a presence about us. It changed there. I believe in 2012, guys retired, and we were around really talented individuals, and other guys around those individuals had a duty to continue to keep stepping their game up. You had greatness with McCutchen, with Pedro, with Neil, these guys that were really embedded in this organization, just out of this world, amazing individuals. We had a really good core. We had some unbelievable arms. I believe one couple years, our arms were all like a sub 3. I mean, it was like we were a joke. So obviously we were very pitcher first dominant. I think this lineup has nothing but opportunity. It's up. I think it's just up to them. The good news is I tell a lot of Pittsburgh fans I still talk to, you guys have, I think, everything you need. That is the truth. Like everything that you could wish on a Christmas list, you asked for, you got. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. So now it's just trying to create an environment to win. And how is our preparation doing that? So, like those components now are super important. Obviously, the good teams, the good leadership, they know how to kind of get these things right. But that's what I see. This Connor Griffin kid's special, and he wants to be. That's what you can see it in this kid where he wants it. He wants to be the best, and that doesn't scare him. When you told me that used to scare me. And whether we want to admit it or not, I was one of the most cocky, arrogant, but there was a moment where a lot of guys missed that boat. So when you see his eyes, man, he is locked in. This kid is ready. Do I want him to start out in the show? I don't know. I'm not a GM. I'm not that connected in the game. I don't know the at bats he needs. I don't know. From a fan, what I see, phenomenal talent. I also know he doesn't really have too much AAA time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I don't know if like they see something different, which is totally accurate, where it's like, no, this kid's ready. This is going to be a waste of time sending him down there, which happens a lot. So really, you got to trust the guys that are around him, that are developing him. I trust that staff tremendously. Matt Haig was a phenomenal hitter. He was very smart, had a great plan. Me and him, actually, that was one of my strategic allies where, we were constantly bantering on the bench, trying to formulate ways to get a pitcher, to get a hit. And we were really good about that. You can check tape, like the football Washington coaches, go check tape. We were real. We had a couple good runs down there in the minors where me and Matt were deadly 3-4, 2-3, you name it. So they got good leadership. I expect good things.
I think it's interesting too, because I think it's going to depend on, how does Pittsburgh play in, I would say maybe about the 6 to 80 game slate, where they're at. And then they'll see, do we honestly make that decision to get Connor in here, get some at-bats, try to get experience along the way? Because we've seen some guys, they came up, got some experience, sent down, got more at-bats, and then when they were ready, because to me, I feel like that's the finding your niche type deal, is because you got it, now you go and work on it, and then by the time you get called up, these guys are hitting like 300 plus. These guys are feeling confident. They're seeing the ball differently. So, I think I'm excited if I'm a Pittsburgh fan seeing this, but it's going to take a lot.
And you want a team around him. I think you have
Yes.
that now.
Yes.
You know, you don't want to
Yep.
call a kid up where he's the only guy. You know, I think
Yep.
now there's time where it's like, no, this kid will have a nice little pad, like a little landing pad, right? Like he might
Hmm.
have some wiggle room. Guess one thing, no offense, Connor, we don't need you to be the guy. If
Right.
all our other guys are not doing the job and you have pressure to be the guy, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Hmm.
That means my guys aren't doing the job. You know,
Yeah.
that's the truth.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah. It should be a slow ease into the thing and not so much of a throw into the wolves and better hope that we have a better season. So I think this is interesting. I have called this team the Sacramento A's of Las Vegas because to me, I have my personal thoughts about, the ownership. But I got to tell you, though, Andrew, is Nick Kurtz, Jacob Wilson, a lot of these youngsters, Shea Langoliers, this A's team looks scrappy. In my opinion, I mean, I've been a born and bred Las Vegas Nevadan for years before moving to Colorado 2 years ago. And to me, this is what we stand upon. We want to be scrappy and we want to be competitive. We don't have any room for excuses and not to mention underperformance. I mean, you look at right now, the Raiders are trying to find their niche, and I think they are in a better direction. But you've got the 2-time Stanley Cup appearance, 1 time winning it with the Golden Knights, and then the WNBA championship team 3 times, where now you got the A's that are going to be coming here into Las Vegas. How do you see this atmosphere playing out? You've been in Oakland. You've seen how the diehard fans have, really gave their time being there in the Coliseum. I hope that they have a historic landmark that gives respect to the fans of Oakland before building a new era in Las Vegas. What do you make of how the A's are going to go? Because to me personally, I think the money revenue will go up substantially because thank you, Dodgers. Thank you, San Francisco and Silicon Valley. But the other thing is, I got to know a bunch of people that I've grown up with in Vegas. Bryce Harper, Chris Bryant, Joey Gallo. Do you potentially make a move to where, hey, we got a team in Vegas. Let's put it all together. Like, what do you think this atmosphere will look like for the A's?
The A's, this is tough for me, right? Because I actually suffered I had a tumor. I was going, I was diagnosed in 2016. I make the team, then I get diagnosed. One thing's for sure with the A's, they did not have to continue to keep me on the 40 man. They did one better. They actually put me on the 25 man for the rest of the year. So I was able to collect benefits, health insurance, like just kind of like the most golden elite move you could possibly ever do. So,
Yeah.
I always tell people this. I go, please understand, this is who you're talking about, right? There are some really good people there. The higher ups demanded that.
Yeah.
And here's how you also know there's good people there. Bro, they don't miss with talent, man. They don't miss with talent. Whoever is in there, I am telling you right now, they don't miss. Like every one of them is a dude. And you at some point you go, you guys have a good brain trust.
Yep.
We see that. I think we see the future. They're explaining to us on what they're wanting to do. I think when someone's willing to sit down and say, here's our business plan, and if it makes sense, me being in the business world, surface level, I'm going to take that for full value, right? Like full face. I'm going to sit there and go, okay, that legitimately sounds like a plan. They're not giving us the ring around, the run around. That's a real concrete plan there. You know, People don't know this. That TV deal really hurt a lot of business owners.
Oh, yeah.
And that was really detrimental to them. When that went through, you can literally put a measurable timeline on when that TV deal failed. You saw teams go from spending to not spending. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do I think that we all need to, sit down, have a good I don't know the internal stuff. I'm coming from a fan. I love this thing. Of course I want to see them see this through. I think it's super important. Do I want a salary cap? Do I want a floor? Really, I want what's best for both sides, and I think there is a deal out there that can accommodate that. Here's what scares me about that. I just talked about how the A's they give us a plan. When you are hearing updates right now on that topic on both sides, it is scary because they are preparing for like the apocalypse. And you're like, I asked you a question and you told me that you have a surplus of like $4 trillion tucked away. For what?
Right. Yeah.
What are we building? A dam? What you guys are going to go away for a year? Oh, come on. Please, we don't want to hear about your nuclear bomb proof plan. That's not what we want to hear as far as like coming to an agreement. So
facts.
What I will say is I want both sides. I think we can find an agreement. It is scary because that's all you're hearing right now from the both sides on that topic. So it's alarming because it's like the commissioner, same thing. He's like subtly talking about expansion. That's amazing, but it doesn't seem like you're telling the players that. And so I'll be honest with you. There is a real deal that could be made where we are getting sponsorships. We can really, really turn this thing. We're popular. We're huge. We blow every sport out of the water. Get out of here. We finally have the motivation to want to go global here. Everything's great, man. I think we just need to keep that positivity. Somebody's got to go in there and sell this thing where it's like, guys, look at this big picture. There's such a global outcome. I don't see how it can't benefit all 30 owners. Sorry absolutely. To kind of muddle. I muddled the
I
A's
love it. I love it because honestly, I was about to ask you with the salary cap, and you answered the question that I had up there for you. If I could honestly make a big pitch, here's my big thing. Can we go back to Fox Sports Radio, like all of it, like what we used to have years ago? Because this going left and right stuff, like, look, we don't need to do that. Just go on a major network and get rid of the damn blackouts, California, please, because it's just ridiculous. I want to see my team play. Andrew, so good chopping it up with you, man. Loved your insights up on here. Take care of yourself and go Team USA. We got a chance to win this for the second time. I'm excited for this. Let's go.
Let's go. Thank you, Jake. It's a pleasure being on.
Absolutely. There you go. Look at that. So entertaining.